3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to Grounds After Rounds.
I can tell this story. You want me to tell? We can kick it in.
Yeah.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. We're in. We kind of know. We'll just do this on the fly.
Jack came up with stuff to talk about,
Got
which
numbers,
is really
ladies and gentlemen.
exciting.
I got numbers. But so speaking of numbers,
Hey,
lottery. So my mom got all the grandkids lottery tickets.
Yeah.
And so
that's funny. Meg's mom does that too.
Yeah.
So it's like scratch. Yeah, like scratch. Yeah.
But the rule was that if you accept the ticket, you agree to, if you win, give my mom half.
Oh.
And my dad had already let the cat out of the bag when he came down and watched Maddie's hockey game a couple of weekends ago, or a weekend ago or whatever. We went out to dinner and he was like, just want to warn y'all. So it's kind of funny. We talked about it, but I was like, okay, I mean, that's fine. But it got this conversation started of like, would you give a lottery ticket to somebody that you're like kind of friends with, but not really? And you don't, it's actually, you know what I mean? Like you're kind of social acquaintances, but you don't really like the person.
Mm-hmm.
And if you gave them the lottery ticket and they won, you know that you would be like, ugh.
Right.
And you just, so, and you know that they're not going to agree to the halvesies. So you just don't give them the lottery ticket. And that was my sister's kind of stance on it. And Nicole and I both were like, nah, I really don't care. Like if I'm going to give somebody the lottery ticket, like I don't want half back.
That's right. Like
it's not my money. It never was my money.
Yeah.
It was a gift. Like it's such a random, like there's nothing I'm doing to control whether that ticket and Chrissy, she could not wrap her head around it. And I mean, like we were just going to the point where like, it was hilarious. And it was so fun because my sister in that moment was Eleanor Shellstrop from The Good Place.
Okay.
The
Kristen
Bell character. Yeah. Like she was just Arizona trash, but not really. She's from Princeton, New York. She's from King of Prussia, but lives in Princeton. But at heart, like such a good person, like an amazing person. Would definitely go to The Good Place, and definitely the new revamped Good Place to have like
I'm so
an eternity of testing. And then, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the series, sorry, but that's
is it still running?
No, it's done.
It's
done.
On
Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
All 4 seasons. But like we went back and forth to the point where it kind of became a running joke of like, and eventually she told us like who in her mind specifically, because it's one of her daughter's friends' parents, and it's the husband, and she's like, he's such a douchebag. And I'm just like, it was so funny to like go back and forth, and I'm just like, well, don't give me the lottery ticket, all right? I do not want to be involved in that. I don't want to be beholden to you. And she's like, I
think it's one of those, in that situation, like I think at the most, I'm with you. Like if I gave, it's like, hey, Merry Christmas, and then you won the lottery, I for the most part be like, well, that's awesome. Part of me be like, damn, but that's awesome. Next pizza's on you. That's about it.
And so it was funny when we went back and forth, and she's like, there's no way, I don't believe that you guys would. I'm like, first off, I really don't care. Yeah. Like, what more do we need? Like I live in America. B, I'm white, I'm a dude, and I have like more than enough. Like, what else? Like, what other lottery do I need to win in the grand scheme of our current existence? But all that aside, like, and I did say that to her. And I said, all that aside, statistically, people who win big lotteries, their lives turn to shit. Yeah. So in a sense, you're actually cursing them to a life of continued pain and suffering that will probably end worse off than if they hadn't won the lottery to begin with. And she goes like this, she goes, ooh, maybe I will give them the lottery ticket. And I just look at her, I'm like, I freaking love you.
So all the people I don't like, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Without a doubt, my sister Chrissy is my gratitude, because it was so fun to have that conversation with her and like watch her like navigate that mental gymnastics of back and forth with complete authenticity and like honesty and transparency, and just like walking along. She's like, and in the end, what it comes down to is, I think she's got some work. We all have some work to do to examine the relationships we have with the people in our lives of like, if that person is really causing you that much suffering, why are you letting them stay in your life? Like, cut that off if you know, and
if only, just like I said, I could totally see Chrissy next season just like handing out
a
lot of like, Merry Christmas, kiss my ass, kiss his ass, Happy Hanukkah. Like, just that would be her with
but it was awesome. Like, it was so funny and so true, and it was just really, awesome. It was just really enjoyable. It was a really fun night, and she made it just really, really fun. So anyway, there, I don't know where I got a lot of numbers. So if you're gonna pick the numbers, that's the the old school out of, I'm gonna pick my birthday numbers.
Yeah,
that's it. Well, the funny thing is, for the longest time, my dad won the lottery like 3 times across maybe like 5 or 6 years, and the little ones, but it was like the pick 3,
right?
And it was always off Christy's birthdays.
The ones where oh really?
Yeah.
What's Chrissy's birthday?
May 14th, 1974.
1474.
Yeah. And he'd like mix and match it. So it'd be like 514, or it'd be like, yeah, I don't remember exactly. Yeah. 51474, 74 145. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and whatever, play 3 straight, whatever.
I feel it's one of those, like, I had a neighbor who, same thing. He was like, one part of his like nightly routine was like, he would run up to like Paceway or whatever. He'd get a ticket, play it. And he'd do the same thing the next day. And every once in a while he'd win a couple $100 here and there, but it was like, he probably ended up spending more in tickets than he ever actually won. But some people, I think it's just like it is like a cheap form of entertainment. On the day. So just don't.
When do they still pick the numbers between like Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune or something right?
That,
or Family Feud. Family Feud and the 5 o'clock news or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But regular TV is like, it's only been probably 10 years, but it seems so distant,
right? Like
me.
Not having being unplugged.
Apparently. Okay, so did you go see Spider-Man?
Yeah.
No Way Home?
Yeah,
we saw it too. Are we allowed to talk about it yet? So this will come out. It'll have been out for almost 2 weeks.
It came out on the 17th, so it'll have been over 2 weeks.
This comes out. It'll have been over 2 weeks,
or 16th, I guess. So yeah, it'll been over 2 weeks.
So are we?
Well, let's just do this. Yeah. Spoiler alert in 3, 2, 1.
All right. Yeah.
Here we go.
Cool. We all went on Christmas Eve. Nicole has not seen any of the Spider-Mans. Maybe she saw like the first Tobey Maguire one. Okay. Way back when, but like not a fan. Went because it was all of us and it was a ton of fun. Loved it. Yeah. So to me, out the gate, that's the test of it being a good film.
Yeah.
That an audience member who generally doesn't like hero movies, who generally doesn't like Marvel movies, who doesn't really like movies like that at all.
Yeah.
Loved it.
I guess people would ask me if I haven't seen the other Spider-Man movies, like, here's all you really need to know. People know who Peter Parker is. He was framed as a murderer. Oh, by the way, just a side note, there were other Spider-Man movies back in the day that were not related to this Spider-Man.
Yeah.
There you go.
Amazing.
That's all you need.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
It's like so many layers and so well done.
So a lot of people are saying they think it's the best Marvel movie. It's really hard for me to put that above Infinity War and Endgame, because I feel like those 2 games were such game changers. So
I think Infinity War still tops out. Yeah. Endgame got a little kitschy. I think it was a little fan fiction-y. You know what I mean? It was a little too neat and tidy.
It was like the nature of that.
Yeah, and they had to close. Anyway. They had to close out that generation or whatever they're calling. Was it phase? They had to close out that phase.
Yeah.
I still think not Civil War. Might be Winter Soldier. Captain America: Winter Soldier might be one of the better ones. And then I'm trying to think,
like Civil War, I feel like was up there because like you had all those characters on the screen for the first time. Like,
at the airport,
all
right?
of them, like that airport scene.
But I'm trying to think of Winter Soldier, which is the one where that's Civil War, when Black Panther is introduced. That's Civil War. So it might be Civil War, because that's when he links up with it's just there's got a little kitschy when they go into the dungeon and you see what's his face, the scientist in Civil War, like you know what I mean? But like it's Shield's done. You find, and like it's been infiltrated since the very beginning by Hydra. So there's so many, the thing is, if you're not a fan of the Marvel, you don't understand what's happening. But as far as like the development of characters, and now it's tough to say because the Marvel TV shows which have come out. I mean, are you kidding me with Hawkeye?
I haven't even watched it.
Oh my God, Eric. It is so good.
I need to watch it, but
Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like, oh my God, so good. Loki, so good.
Oh, he was so good.
So putting Spider-Man into that mix as like, it's tough because it's apples to oranges.
Yeah.
You know, it's a different medium, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think it's
How was the theater full when you were there?
Nah, probably
did they
quarter, half.
So when like Andrew Garfield Spider-Man first came through,
there was
there cheering?
Yes,
our whole theater like cheered.
Yeah.
So excited.
Everybody
Everyone knew it was coming.
Yeah, but you still, and how it did it, because you all knew, because you know he's a different costume.
Yeah,
you're watching him come closer.
Yeah.
The fact that not Nick, what's his name? His buddy. Nate. Ned figures it out. Like, like so cool. So many cool things. MJ is like such a strong and leading character, and like anchoring to all of them. Yeah. And I mean, Tom Holland. You can't even make the argument that he's the best Spider-Man. Yeah, I mean, Tobey Maguire really stepped up.
Yeah.
And like, did
you ever see
fucking Garfield saves MJ?
Did you not like?
Yeah.
And he was more focused.
I'm getting weepy now.
And so in Spider-Man, the way he had caught her with the web, but it like snapped her back or whatever. So he was like, it's that little thing that if you didn't see the other movies, you would have missed it, or if you didn't see other movies, you miss it, but you don't know what you're missing.
Yeah.
But he's so focused on catching her and not getting her with the web.
Yep.
And then like little things. So like, I was kind of curious. They did the scene. Like, have you seen the meme from like the old Spider-Man cartoon where there's 3 Spider-Mans and they're all pointing at each other? Have you ever seen, like, people were putting that thing up constantly?
No, maybe.
And it was so like, because it happened, there was this episode of the Spider-Man cartoon back in the day where there are 3 Spider-Men, and there's this scene where they're all like face to face with each other, pointing at each other.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull it up for you now. So it was this right here. So 3 different spiders. So this is like, hold it up for our viewing audience. So it was from the cartoon way back in the day. And so a bunch of people were like, if all 3 Spider-Men are like, they have to have that scene.
Yeah.
So do you remember when they were in the lab and MJ said, Peter, and they all were like, Peter, me, Peter. And that was like the call to that. Like, Marvel's so good at like,
because that's
tailoring the fans.
Yeah.
Also pulling
without it being, and that's what I meant, like Endgame was so good.
Yeah. I just got tingles like thinking about it again.
Yeah, I mean, and Josh saw it twice.
Oh yeah,
like boom, back to back, and he's
it,
like, "I'd go see it again. I want
to go see it again." Yeah.
But so I've now watched with Disney Plus. I've watched the whole. I'm skipping around a little bit, but I don't watch Captain Marvel enough. Like I've seen that 3 or 4 times, but I'll usually kind of like not put that in my cycle.
I try not to let because people like.
I really liked it. I think it's
people hate on Brie Larson, and I think it's Brie.
Why?
I think people hate on Brie Larson is because she's had moments where it's almost like people that are like Marvel gatekeepers, right? Like she came in late in the game, and people, when you clump together these like interview
it's
moments,
a big universe, Eric. There's
together,
a lot of other planets that don't have.
Right,
didn't have you all.
Which I thought was such a great line for her, because it's like, yeah, of course you came late, because here's the thing.
Yeah,
I think
I'm out taking care of all the other business.
It's funny. I think like Captain Marvel, I liked that movie. I think it was a good way to tie her in without it feeling way too far out of left field.
Yeah,
I think people don't love Brie Larson.
That's what I don't understand that. I think she's
an amazing
actor.
I think she's had moments where people are like,
she was on either Smartless or Armchair. I think Armchair. And she was really good. Like she's she's won an Academy Award, I think, for
she's been. I know. I think she's
like serious movies.
I think she's maybe it's like she has talked about things, and this is me just. I have no idea what
people let her personal.
Like people like there's things that she's talked about, and people are like, all right, Brie Larson, there you go again, blah blah blah. And it's like,
get over yourself.
Like, hey, whatever, that's her. She's using her platform or whatever. But I can tell. But there's all this stuff around too. Like other actors in the Marvel universe aren't a huge fan of her, And it's like, and so what you'll see is I saw this compilation once of all these like Brie Larson interview moments where it's like, see how she did this and see how she did this and see how like annoyed this person seems. It's like, well, when you lump them all together like that, it seems pretty bad.
Yeah.
But like in these like in the grand scheme
that
of things,
junket
like,
was 19 hours long.
right?
You
Like,
picked 30 seconds from a 19-hour junket.
exactly. And like at the end of the day, I don't care. I thought she was cool as Captain Marvel.
Hell yeah. That was
And I thought
so the only reason
cool.
the only reason I mentioned that is that I've watched the cycle, the Avengers cycle,
Yes.
probably a half a dozen times now.
Yeah.
Because I'll put it on and just kind of let it run. And one time Andrew comes in, he goes, "You're watching it again?" I was like, "Yeah, Spider-Man's coming out. Gotta rehash, refresh."
And I think Captain Marvel's one of those. What's up?
I thought I was disconnected.
But
that's
Captain Marvel's one of those ones that
I'm not connected.
You could. I'll make sure I'm not. I am also not connected. It's one of those movies that like I think the Captain Marvel movie set up this next phase a little bit more because I think she's kind of supposed to be kind of big one because now you're talking like deep outer space, right?
Yeah.
So they threw her in because she was going to have a role at the end of the new phase, but she was also kind of setting up the next phase.
Gotcha.
So it's a movie like if you go through all of it, if you didn't watch Captain Marvel, you'd probably be okay. But she does play a key role down the line.
Yeah.
And so I think, so like I said, I think there are some like purist gatekeepers that are like, did we really need Captain Marvel right now? Calm down. It was awesome. Like, good job. But anyway, but Spider-Man,
super enjoyable. Highly recommend it. You got time, you're on vacation, you got one more weekend because this comes out Friday.
Well, so. I hope if you haven't seen it yet, I hope you're not listening at this point.
Good point. Back in.
If you have seen it, one of my back in. 3, 2, 1 now.
We'll tell people. I have no idea where that time is. So
again, a couple of the other little things that people like remember at the end. So he at the end he had the classic. Huh?
You're going, but you're telling now, though.
Yeah, no. Oh no, we're not back in. No, we're going back. Back spoiler. Remember at the end when he went back to his regular, his like original Spider-Man suit, right? And I think about this. Someone said it. They said he had to make his own suit because the Stark Tech didn't recognize him after the spell was made. Stark Tech doesn't recognize Peter Parker because nobody remembers Peter Parker.
I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, and then there was another.
That's like, pretty cool.
MJ's still wearing the necklace that Peter gave her. Even though he doesn't remember her, and there were a couple different things that's like there are these little things that like the universe doesn't know who Peter Parker is. And then my favorite is like TikTok and social media where there's this one guy, he goes, so I was watching Avengers Endgame the other day, and I noticed something that I didn't notice before. At the funeral of Tony Stark, and you see it start like panning back where you like go to all people, he goes on Peter Parker, and he goes, who the hell is that guy? Right? Like and there was this other guy, he goes, look, I know you all are gonna sit here and say that Spider-Man No Way Home was like the best movie we've ever seen, and the action was cool and seeing Spider-Man. But what I don't understand is they kept showing this one guy, this Peter Parker guy, they kept showing. What does he have to do with anything? Worst movie, didn't make any sense. He just kept throwing him in for some random reason. So it's like, well done.
Well, that's pretty funny. People are funny.
Yeah. So, but it was, I definitely
super enjoyable.
We're back in it.
Yeah.
Now, spoiler free. You should definitely go see it.
So Nicole and I are talking about how kind of letting go of expectations on Christmas. Because I heard a lot of people lamenting.
I will have to vent to you after this podcast, by the way, about people need to let go of expectations on Christmas.
I think it's healthier for everybody involved. And we can just use the weather.
Especially of kids.
We can use the weather as maybe the stand-in metaphorical representation of all those expectations. It was gorgeous.
Beautiful.
This weekend. I mean, like from Thursday to Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And Nicole initially said, which I respect, she goes, it just doesn't feel like Christmas. And I pushed back and I said, how can you say that when if you look at percentage wise through your life, especially as an adult, the majority of her Christmases have been spent in climates that are not cold. Most of our Christmases, almost for the last 20 years, our Christmases together have been in warm places. Yeah. So I was like, that's
and
not...
it's really ever really cold this time of year in Maryland.
And she goes, yeah, but my most formative ones, the memory is of being cold. Yeah. And I was like, that's a really good point. Because then like a day later, Erin Power goes sort of similar. She goes, yeah, but it doesn't feel like Christmas. It's too nice. It's too warm. And it clicked for me. And I go, okay, Nicole was not complaining about the weather, because then we went for a long walk on Christmas morning and it was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And she's like, I'm over it. She's like, this is awesome. She's like, I would take this every year. Yeah. And what it was is coming out of 2020. Even 2019 was a little like ominous. You know what I mean? Like, is this coming? What's happening?
You heard murmurs.
And so it's sort of like a missing of something that felt like the Christmas that you remember.
Yeah.
And really, and I was really impressed with Nicole. And she's like, I just hadn't fully grieved those Christmases. And then I hadn't realized how much I had missed that feeling the last 2 years. And I went, she's like, yeah. And she's like, and I had to let that go. And so she's like, I did. And so our Christmas Eve was, we made tacos and then hung out with the boys, had some cookies, and then went to the movies. And it was awesome. We woke up Christmas morning, super low key. And like, you know what I mean? Like her and I have memories of these Christmases with certain ways that they're supposed to be. Yeah. And it wasn't anything like that. It was just us with our boys, and it was awesome. Yeah. And it was so fun. And like it was probably the best Christmas we've had in a long, long time. Awesome. And then we woke up yesterday, drove to my sister's and saw my side of the family. And then we're going to go up and see her side of the family later next week, or when you guys all hear this, I won't be in Annapolis. Yeah. But that idea for me manifested in that feeling of the weather. Because to me, I was like, I can give two shits. Yeah. I hate the cold. So the fact that it was beautiful, I was like, this is awesome. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I loved Christmas in Hawaii. I thought it was great. I would love to have snow on Christmas, just because it's like, that's what you grow up like. That's what all the stories tell you, right? What I'm talking about.
And I would love to have snow. I'd love to like wake up, open presents, and go outside and play in the snow. But I also wouldn't be totally opposed to like waking up, opening presents, and going on a hike in like 60 degrees. Yeah, like it's one of those like as long as it's not raining. Yeah. Like, and you know, the rain but it is what it is. Like, you've just got all this stuff now. Now you got to hang out inside. So maybe
the weather did a great job of wrapping all of those expectations up into one thing. Yeah. That in letting that go, so many other things got let go. Yeah. Of expectations. Yeah. And it was just really super enjoyable.
Awesome. Sounds awesome.
Yeah. I don't know where that came from and why I thought of that, but it was so nice this weekend. It was so friggin' nice.
Yeah. It was really nice. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess we were talking about letting go of expectations, something that had to do with the movies, and then it came to Christmas and something like that. So
cool. Speaking of expectations, I love this little exercise that we started a couple of years ago. Yeah. And you gave me enough heads up, which I appreciated, to actually like sit down and crunch some numbers rather than do it on our phone in the moment.
Doing, which I think was like we did the first time.
Oh yeah, we should totally do this. This is great. So I did. I pulled up Zen and I pulled up SugarWOD, and granted, folks, there's probably a good 10 to 100% inaccuracies, mathematical inaccuracies, give or take a little bit. We're on a spectrum of accuracy.
You know what? Also, they're 100% accurate. You're not going to check, and you don't even have the access to check.
Not to mention, read my blog. Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. And this is a damn good story about 2020, in my opinion, of Fairwinds CrossFit. Right. So SugarWOD had kind of a good, I was looking for categories. Do you know what I mean? Like I was trying to figure out like, how does this get kind of crunched into digestible things that are worth paying attention to? And I've written about it. We've talked about it. I love the concept that CrossFit established of power output. Mm-hmm. Power output is a function of your work capacity. Work capacity is how we define how fit you are. The fitter you are, the healthier you are. He or she who can do more work is fitter. It's measurable, observable, repeatable. So you can do a power equation and figure out kilowatts or energy output by a group of human beings if you make the assumption, or just go ahead and say, okay, I'm gonna factor out the fact that if you and I did Fran, and we did it at the exact same time using a 95-pound barbell, you would have a higher power output because you are a larger human being moving faster. But when in CrossFit, we factor that out when we just say the 95-pound barbell, we say it's standard distance traveled and blah, 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 blah. And so the time,
which gives us a good general base that you can
simplify it and say, all I need is a stopwatch. And that is the thing that tells me who was fitter.
Yes.
That person who moved faster.
Yes.
So I kind of took some of those liberties in some of this calculations or these, the math. So Luis, take a breath. It's not as Ed, take a breath.
Now, and we'll tell you what, if at the end of this all, you can't take a breath, start digging into it. So next year, if you think you have a much better system, numbers we would be more than happy for you to prepare these numbers for us.
And also,
but you also need to be just as clever as coming up with Jack's scenarios.
And this is user generated information. So if people don't log their workouts in SugarWOD, we don't. And there is a discrepancy because I went on and looked at how many, like by the year total, how many people logged workouts versus how many people attended classes. Zen Planner, because we're doing it and the coaches are doing it, though we're not perfect either. We miss ones here and there, but we're at about 95%.
Which is probably mostly you,
Yeah. Athletes are more probably at about 70 to 75% of logging and stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, all that's to say, I think it makes for a fun story. So let's jump in. And we'll hit the categories that SugarWOD breaks out specifically in this breakout. So
perfect.
Total number of workouts done by Fairwinds CrossFit athletes this year, which is pretty cool. And I apologize, beasts. This was not an ageist thing. I didn't just like say, screw them.
Yeah.
That's actually not true. This does include beasts because it's everybody in SugarWOD. So like,
oh, there you go.
But
there you go.
Beasts don't log their workouts.
Beasts don't log. So that's what I say. Well, that's what I was asking you before.
Who did log workouts? These are in here.
Which is probably Matt. Pretty much Matt Ryan. Yeah. When I asked you, I was like, just include the beast because it'll do a couple things. It'll skew the weightlifting numbers because they do heavy lifts. They have heavy days more often. But it might also skew them because they also
how I came up with those numbers.
It also skews because out of 20 beasts, one logs their scores with any regularity.
So anyway, in a sense, Matt kind of made up for some of you who don't log your stuff consistently. All right, so workouts. Total number of workouts done by Fairwinds CrossFit this year, 8,735 workouts. That's kind of cool. I mean, that's what I mean? A lot of workouts. That's a lot of freaking workouts.
Which is one of those so that's logged. I mean, I realize that's logged, that's everyone that logged a workout. And then you take the grand scheme of things, that's how many workouts a year. So say we don't have, that's 6 workouts a week. Can you do the math for me? 52 times 6. With the occasional, we take a day off here, take it off here. Hey, if you miss a day, it'll be okay.
Right. I see what you're going. Yeah. You 2 to 3 times a week, which again, and that will come up as we go through this little rundown, 2 to 3 times a week is the minimum effective dose.
Yeah.
Right. That's the thing. And if you're coming 2 to 3 times a week, you're going to see results across the year. And you're going to understand why when you see how much power output, how efficacious this methodology is. So anyway, active day. Oh no, that's sorry. So active days. Active days. Yeah. Active days is how often an athlete was in SugarWOD.
Okay.
So you would think, right? If I'm logging 1 workout a day and I'm active, those 2 numbers should be the same, but they're not.
Yeah.
So what that tells you, it's less. Active days are less. What that tells you is there's some of us who are double logging. So I log 3 or 4 workouts sometimes.
Right.
Matt sometimes logs
some people
double.
don't log any.
Right. So the fact that those 91%. 2 exactly.
Yeah.
So it was within 10%. I was good to go.
Yeah.
That's because I almost was oh God, I'm going to have to bounce this off at Zen. And I'm going to figure out, factor in where's my discrepancy. But the fact that it was within 10%, I was moving forward, didn't use Zen at all.
Done. Got it.
All right. Comments. Total number. Let's go fist bumps first. Total number of fist bumps given. And pay attention to this. 59,198.
It's a lot of fist.
Almost 60,000 fist bumps given by athletes to other athletes. Now, here's the cooler part. Fist bumps received 61,750. So people, you are more generous than not. Is that people get more fist bumps than people give?
So wouldn't that be the opposite? People take more than they give.
No, they're giving.
People are taking fist bumps more than they're giving. So really, we have a selfish crew.
No, so
you're being selfish with your almost 60,000 fist bumps.
What it is the people who give fist bumps give them more than they receive.
I got it.
So that's because, so basically
for every 5 fist bumps I give, I only get 1 back.
Exactly. And so in the end, more are being received than given.
Yes.
And that, so that's like, because if I'm somebody who just, I don't fist bump or comment that much, which we probably should as coaches. That's, Sugar Rod says to build a community. Blah, blah, blah.
If you make
but
it
we
easier,
don't have to.
If you make it easier.
But good point. But we don't have to because people are doing it already.
Yes.
And I'm going to bump to, this is kind of cool. And even the comments are within 20%. So about 20% of fist bumps given and received, there's a comment associated with that fist bump. Does that make sense? So that's kind of a cool
what was
thing.
that percentage?
20%.
That's a good.
So that's not bad, which, and
again, about 1 out of every 5.
And a comment is really kind of tough because you got to get in there and gifts count as comments.
That's to say, I wish I could, like, here's the leaderboard, right? I wish I could just fist bump.
Like they had a little fist bump.
Right. Like I wish I could just tap the fist and then fist the person.
I'll play devil's advocate with that. I like that you have to.
But it also, like, you actually go in, see what they did, give them the fist bump. And then it also gives me more like,
there to comment.
Mike, you're so strong.
Is that for Batista?
Yeah.
He is really strong.
And handsome.
Yeah. And funny.
Jack, in parentheses, your son is coming for you.
You're watching it real time.
Boom.
That did not get accounted.
So now
that'll get wrapped in for next year because it's New Year's Eve, ladies and gentlemen. So the year is almost over. All right. So I just think that's kind of a cool, that's the general categories that Sugar Rod provides in this one view screen that you can export. And I was like, that's kind of a cool wrap up. That tells a very fun story. But now let's do some math.
Let's do some math.
You ready for some math?
Let's do some math.
So if we assume that each workout averages about 300 watts, that I put out about 300 watts of power for a workout, the total number of kilowatts that the gym produced across the entire year was 2,620 and a half kilowatts. Some of you have absolutely no idea what that is and what that equates to. So I did something for you. Across the year, we as a gym could power one standard household for 1 month.
There you go.
So we as a gym could provide you one person who has a standard household in the United States is assumed to be a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, family of 4. I'm not gonna.
A dog, a picket fence, a tire swing.
So 19.
Are they septic or sewer?
So
that could be the right.
Anyway, a standard American household, we could power it for 1 month. I thought that was pretty cool.
Like, think about like that. So, you live in a house, I live in a condo. What do you think that electric bill, give or take, like on average? That electric bill is probably what? Anywhere from
ours?
Just do you mind? Can I?
It's about $300.
About $300.
I think, and we did the deal with BG&E where
you get like the special days.
They average it out for a year, all year. So we just pay the same every month.
Yeah.
And whether it goes up or down. Yeah. And we're almost within. And now we got new windows in February, so I may reach out to them and put it down.
That'd be awesome.
But yeah, we're about $300.
Get a tax credit for that too. Might get a tax credit.
The new windows?
For new windows.
I don't know.
Check that
out. It'll be in 2022 anyway. But yeah, so about $300 a month.
Yeah.
So $60 a human. So
you guys saved enough money for a month and a half membership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in a sense thanks, Fairwinds.
That's like a free 6 weeks of fitness right there.
Yeah.
You could really, this is fun.
Like that, right? That's like if you dollar out quantify what our community's work did as far as, and we're talking about fitness as a function of power output. Yeah, we powered the human house. We saved somebody $300 a year. I don't know, just by moving your bodies well. Yeah. And some of you not even that well. And really the long-term benefits of all that moving that you did, really, it's so much more than powering a household in the long run. But that's awesome. That's a fun little stat there. All right. So that's a lot of power. So I kind of went like, all right, so average kilowatts per class then is about 1.95. kilowatts per class, which across the day, and I only did 5 classes, I didn't include the beasts in this calculation. So across the year, we were running 5, those 6.
Really 6,
So maybe I multiplied that by, I think I multiplied it by 5 because I was already thinking, whatever. Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story, folks. So averaging about 5 classes a day, well, weekends and blah, 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 and all that jazz. We make about 10 kilowatts a day. We produce about 10 kilowatts a day, which we can run the washer and dryer for free every day, one cycle, one washer cycle, one dryer cycle.
So what you're saying is we should be charging our tenants to use that washer dryer.
Well, or we could say right, because we don't actually, we should get a credit back into the system with ANS, because of we'd have to hook, if we could hook our human beings up to some sort of like Tony Stark arc reactor thing, and to generate and battery, charge a battery with.
I feel like between like Luis and Rob and maybe Chad, you could probably figure out something there. Yeah,
guys, get on that.
Yeah.
So we could run our washer and dryer with the amount of work that we do on an average day at the gym. We could run the washer and dryer for free.
Boom.
Pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Pretty cool.
That's cool.
And so watts per athlete each day was about 400, just over 400, 410. So the average athlete who comes across Fairwinds CrossFit, and this is where I had to use them a little bit, our average athlete comes 1.5 times per week, which was a little disappointing, ladies and gentlemen. I want to get that number up to 2. I think if we can get that number up to 2, we would see a lot of changes in people that they would not expect. 2 days a week should be your bare minimum. But at about 1.5 times per week, one person coming to the gym could run their washer, or run their refrigerator for 3.5 days. So just by coming 1.5 times a week, you basically run your refrigerator for free half the week. Now, if you bump that up to 3 days a week, you're running your refrigerator for free.
Man,
is your refrigerator running? Because you are.
Oh, nicely done. I can tell that came off top too. You were planning.
I wasn't
that.
planning on
right
that.
There. Yeah, that was good.
Thanks.
Ain't catching me.
But
well
the
done,
top
Jack.
20 athletes, as far as attendance and consistency goes, come closer to 4 days a week. So about 3.87 days per week. If you were to take their power output, they could run a Tesla for almost 14 miles.
So that'd be like
the commute back and forth to for me, a full week of commuting back and forth to the gym, 6 days a week.
There you go.
Yeah. Or just a week, a work week, Monday through Friday. I could drive my Tesla, if I had a Tesla, back and forth to the gym without charging it, if somehow we could hook up that Tony Stark human battery to the Tesla. Yeah.
I could see Joe charging my Tesla.
Yeah.
Put Joe on an Echo bike and just, buddy, I got to be at Ocean City in like 30 minutes. I need you to crank this thing.
Get
out
on it. Yeah. Let's go. Ocean City or bust. If you could somehow hook a trailer to it, and then he's on the Echo while they're just and pull in, just like, I mean, now it's a self-sustaining for everything. Just throw some bananas back at him, maybe a Red Bull or 2.
That's
like,
good. Yes,
keep going. I love you, Joe.
Oh man.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is my my New Year's Eve year in review. That is our power output across the gym.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, we did lift, like as a gym. We lifted during the open. We lifted a brontosaurus, or you remember, like Allie was like,
let's make sure to do that again.
We lifted an elephant, whatever. So I thought about that. I was like, all right, well, let's quantify like the things that we actually did. And I thought of what are the movements that everyone kind of loves and hates: pull-ups, push-ups, burpees, and thrusters. So I looked about like how often we completed those things. We completed pull-ups about 5 times a month in a workout, push-ups about 3 times a month in a workout, burpees about 4 times, as much as everybody believes we do burpees all the time. No, you only come 1.5 times on average a week. And when you do randomly come, unfortunately, it's the burpees. And thrusters about 3 times a month. So pull-ups about 5 times a month, push-ups about 3 times a month, burpees about 4 times a month, thrusters about 3 times a month. In those workouts, I estimated, looking at kind of the various workouts, we do about 50 pull-ups in a workout. Usually we do about 40 push-ups, about, burpees.
What I love about this
more,
too
sometimes
is
less.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I said what I love that this doesn't include so like the pre-workout skill and strength that we do. So like this is such a great like snapshot. But this, I talked about it during one of the videos a couple of weeks ago about how like important like those specific warm-ups can be to improving your fitness. Like this is showing a great amount of like work getting put in, and there's still so much that's not even accounted for, that if like take that stuff seriously.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
Yeah, it matters, because that's when these reps aren't always quality reps.
Right.
The warm up and cool down reps can be significantly more quality reps.
Yep.
So these are capacity reps. Anyway,
Yes.
So
Quality and capacity reps.
figuring that out across the year, we did about 71,250 pull-ups. That's a lot of pull-ups, ladies and gentlemen. That's a recipe for rhabdo right there.
It's about 20%. Don't mention rhabdo in front of Kenna. She'll probably get it.
Well, I just said 71,250 pull-ups. She went, "Please, my arms hurt."
My arms.
Did they just say that we did 71,250 pull-ups? No wonder.
No, what is happening?
I think Drew just passed out. We did about 34,200 push-ups. We did about 51,300 burpees, and we did about 42,750.
I feel like this number is mostly made up
thrusters
of the workout from last Wednesday.
Which actually wasn't that many burpees.
No, it really wasn't.
It's less than most people did less than 50 burpees.
Yeah.
If you get to the round of 10, you've done 55 burpees.
Yeah. Yep.
And don't worry, because you only did 12 during the 12 days
Right.
of Christmas workout. So
Right.
we're not taught. That's the thing. Like people,
It seems like so much.
and when you
and
actually do the numbers on it, you're like, oh, it wasn't that much. But when you aggregate that across an entire year, we fucking kick ass.
it's a lot of burpees, guys.
Yeah.
It's a lot of burpees.
All right, moving on. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to see, like, and this again, SugarRod has some pretty good functionality to like look at this stuff. If you want the gold standard, Beyond the Whiteboard does all this stuff so much better. And I will tell you, and it's all user generated, but their numbers are like pretty and graphs and like
They give you like animals, like you're a white tiger.
It's but it's so arduous to like put garbage in, garbage out. If you put you put all your information in and keep it up to date, you're going to get some amazing data.
Yeah.
You don't, you're going to get, your data's going to be about as good as mine. So,
which this is all I need.
yeah, me too.
Right.
All right. So on our back squats,
If you want more than this, then you are probably wearing several pairs of Nobles right now.
if you want more than this,
yeah,
we said, yeah. Some on your hands, some on your feet.
You're probably in those
multiple.
deep squat shoulder presses.
That's just fun.
So
I liked the cat. I thought the cat kind of held the whole room together, completed the room.
that whole community page is just like that though. Like it's
Is it a noble community?
It's Noble Community. It's called Noble Community.
Weird.
And I think it's people showing their like racks of like, look at all 18 to 25. Like we thought we had a lot of shoes.
Oh yeah.
These are all Nobles, and Nobles don't go on sale, folks.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you check out the Noble Community page on Facebook, it is fun to just see.
Nobles are not an investment strategy,
right?
Like you can't invest in buying shoes for yourself.
Yeah, and like go into it. Like I said, this one video I saw, it was this woman, and she had this great setup outside. I think she said she was 60 years old, and she had a set of dumbbells, and she was out in the snow, and it was like a box that looked like a present, and a tree, and her dog, and her cat, and she goes, these are great, like full body,
squats.
It was a deep squat into a shoulder press with dumbbells. It's a thruster, right? And I laughed, and I was like, she's awesome. That's great. I laughed at the movement because I'll see this one time where it's like, and I'm sorry to get off track here, but this guy's like, look, if you think you're trying to strengthen your bench press, I have a much better movement for you to strengthen your bench press. It's called the horizontal prone. It's called a horizontal prone barbell arm extension. And it's like, and it's a video of him doing a bench press. I'm like, that's exactly what that was. So it made me laugh. So I'm not throwing shade at anyone. I thought it was a great video, and I'll probably show it on the Facebook community page anyway, because it was a lot of fun. Anyway,
she was cool.
Not zero. Yeah, she was awesome.
We improved our back squat as a gym 38%, ladies and gentlemen. Well done.
Well done.
I think that's pretty good. And we don't even do strength sessions.
Fairwinds CrossFit does not skip leg day.
That's right. That's pretty good. Even more impressive, we improved our deadlifts by 43%.
Hot.
That's amazing. If you have a 200-pound deadlift, you probably now have a 300-pound deadlift. Like that's the type of
That's
I mean,
a legit
if you
jump.
don't, it's okay. But
It's okay.
like that's the type of improvements that we saw across this year.
Yeah.
The snatch, one of the hardest, most complicated, simplest movement in the world, just because it's simple, the hardest movement because no room for error, 18%, almost a 20% improvement across the snatch.
Like if you told me, if I had 100-pound snatch, if you told me that over the course of a year, I would increase that by 20 pounds, I would call you a liar. I was like, no, that ain't happening. You ever done a snatch? It ain't increasing by 20 pounds.
It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
And then clean and jerks, we went up 26%.
Yeah.
So across the board, and I picked those because they're kind of most fun.
You standard, the ones they're fun. And
I didn't do shoulder press because for some, like the system just wouldn't run like it was weird. It just
we do bench press, but really
who cares?
Like twice.
Yeah.
I mean, I
clean and
care,
jerks actually cleans this does work. As cleans go up, benches go up. It's almost oftentimes there comes a point where they do break and you need to work on both of them. But for many of us who are still newbies lifters, they kind of keep going up together.
I'm excited to see. It is Friday, so we can talk about it. That CrossFit total, we're going to see some of those numbers. I'm so excited about the total. I'm excited for people.
And so I'd finish out by, I thought it was really cool that the fist bump leader gave 4,519 fist bumps across the year. That athlete had just under 300 active days, or just over 300 active days on SugarWOD. So if you divide, I should have done this math, I just thought of it now, but if I divide 4519 by 330, oh God, not that, 4519 by 313, that athlete was giving 14 fist bumps a day. That's pretty cool.
I feel like that's like if you took 5 to 10 minutes out of your day and just dedicated it to fist bumping people. That's awesome.
The lead commenter, which was kind of a cool, was active about 275 days. That's almost 8 comments a day that the lead commenter was leaving when when that athlete was active on SugarWOD. And then this is kind of cool. The lead SugarWOD getter, 3,654 fist bumps.
That's a lot of fist bumps.
Yeah. It was a fun exercise to kind of go through and look at.
It's awesome how you guys support each other.
Yeah, like how much interaction happens, and it's not always like the best athlete got the most and stuff, and it's not always some of the biggest gains weren't the newest athletes. You had people I saw in there some like 30 and 40% improvements in lifts by people who had been doing this for a while. So
which I love about this is it's such a great, like, it's the leaderboard. Yes, it's there and it shows times and pace and all that, but you guys are using the leaderboard for exactly like what we want it to be. Community, it's support and like interact and use each other as like the whatever, use it as something other than who's the best.
Yeah. And
I think that's awesome.
So here's my takeaway. Is that goals and goal settings. The process of setting goals for me is a waste of time because we never do it correctly.
Right.
Because we always look at, I want to have a 185-pound clean and jerk. I want to lose 15 pounds. It is a performance-based goal, objective goal. Like that's a performance-based goal rather than a process-based goal. Because process-based goals are not as exciting because it requires sort of a routine. It requires kind of like letting go of expectations. You kind of have to just say, I'm going to see where the process goes. So instead of your goal being, I'm going to lose 15 pounds, how about a goal is, I'm going to eat a vegetable every night at dinner, and I'm going to go to the gym 3 days a week.
That sounds boring as hell, but that's the...
But why that could be boring is when I go to the gym, I'm going to comment or I'm going to fist bump on people's fist bump, and I'm going to read other people's comment, and I'm going to enjoy, right? Like you start to, well, that was really fun.
That's not me criticizing your goal.
Totally.
That's
exactly. Because you attach, if goals are only performance or objective based goals,
you're going to lose your steam.
You're going to lose your steam super fast. But the worst part is that people, this is the sneaky part. Colin Bauer came over on Christmas morning, which, by the way, he is so effing funny. He just showed up at like 8:30, right before the boys had just gotten up. It was like 8 o'clock or something. Yeah. They were done by like 6:15 a.m. The peasant's open, everything's done. So like our boys like I cooked all the bacon. I was starting to cook the quiche that we had got, and they started, oh, is that bacon? They came down. So we hadn't started open presents yet. Door knocks. Colin comes in. It's hilarious. He's like, oh, you guys haven't done presents yet? Sits down, hung out with us while we all opened the presents. Awesome. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
But he goes, we finished and we're all just kind of laying, we're just kind of like, that was cool. And he goes, yeah, man, this is the worst part. This is the worst part. Because now Christmas is over.
Yeah.
And all that excitement, and it's over.
Such a buildup.
And you ask the Olympic gold medalist. So how's it feel? I don't know. Like, I thought I would be. This is the person who in their sport was the best in the world at that moment. That like they have the gold medal to prove that they were the best. Statistically, they are disappointed, or they feel a letdown, or they feel that
they're automatically thinking like, all right, what do I do next?
What do I do next? Yeah. Because that's the problem with objective-based goals, is that as humans, we are naturally not satisfied because we live in the future or we obsess about the past. And so it's very difficult for us to stay in the present moment.
Yeah.
Process-based goals allow you to keep staying in the moment. And if you stay as a process-based goal, you don't keep getting wrapped into like, well, this is going to lead to, I'm going to come 3 days a week so that ... No. Cut out that so that. I'm going to come 3 days a week. And on the weeks you fail, you can be like, oh, why? Why did I? Okay, well, just I forgot to pack my shoes, or it got really busy at work. No big deal. There's going to be failures. There's going to be ups. There's going to be downs. As you go through the process, you will find the emotional triggers that keep you consistent. Oh, wait, I feel like that word's important again. It's over here. Yeah. That keep you rewarded for staying in the process.
Beautiful.
And when you consistently stay the process,
shows up.
The objective, you meet the objective whether you meant to or not. That's the trick of better goals, more effective goals. Set a process goal. Get rid of the, I want to lose 15 pounds. I want to be top 10%. I want to whatever. It's a waste of time. They will fail. You will not reach it. Best case scenario, you hit your goal. You're going to be disappointed after it's over.
It's funny. I saw Meg's mom yesterday, Kim, and she said she was spending all day she's coming up for what she wants 2022 to look like via her business, via herself, blah blah blah. And she's like, I spent all day, she basically said, this is what I want, and I spent all day planning what it is that I have to do to get there. And it was one of those I know Kim, because she has big ideas. She loves big ideas, but what I appreciate from Kim was maybe it did take her all day, because she probably looked and is like, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm probably going to have to do this. And if I know Kim, she came up with every possible thing that's going to get in her way or that she's going to have to do. Well, she'll probably end up getting overwhelmed to the point, but from Kim 2 years ago, she took a huge step back and said, well, maybe it's not this performance-based thing that I really need. This is it. So the fact that she took all day to come up with it was actually so you actually thought about what this thing actually is that you're trying to do, not just set this arbitrary, I want to do this.
Yeah.
So from a standpoint for Kim was that's awesome. She took it. I don't know what it looked like. I didn't ask you more details, but from it can't just be it's not as simple as I'm going to lose 15 pounds, because you really have to think about what does that 15 pounds actually mean.
Right.
And so that's why I think she took a big, now the fact that it took her all day is like, oh man, I think you might've,
and then there's this wasn't the point of this episode, because this is a whole nother rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But anytime you change something, this was on Maya Shankar, who was on Obama's staff, and she's a behavioral scientist.
That's what I want to know the name.
Super smart, love, like, cool dynamic on the episode and stuff, but she's got good stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
But and I've heard this before too. I think Brene Brown has talked about it, and I've read about it in other places. But the idea of change, anything you change comes with loss.
Mm-hmm.
So think about it. Like, my process is going to be, I'm going to consistently go to the gym 3 days a week. For that process to take place, I'm going to go to the same class time. I'm going to, pre-make my meal, like blah, blah, blah. For all that to happen, the process to be successful, this, and this has to happen. Those are all choices that, if they're a change from your normal routine, you are choosing to do something instead of
I used to do this. You're losing this so that you can do this.
Exactly. This is the Heisenberg uncertainty principle in human behavior, in the sense of the only way we know the direction and speed of light is that we choose a path, that it chooses a path. Otherwise, it's the electron cloud, all that stuff. It's an infinite possibility. And so until you choose, you have infinite possibility. But if you don't choose, you don't exist.
Yes.
So in the sheer nature of our existence, we have lost infinity.
That's a lot to lose.
Exactly. And we don't spend enough time thinking about that as well, that you can't do it all.
No.
So you have to pick, or you get to pick one thing, and that thing can be, there's a lot of shoulds and have tos, can be this process. But in that process, be aware there's going to be loss. I really wanted to go to Margaret's birthday party, but I've only been to the gym 2 days this week, and Saturday is the only other day the gym's open. Sorry, Margaret, I've got to leave your birthday party early. That's a loss. Or you make a choice and you say, I'm going to fail in my process goal for this week. Okay, but you know what? Hey, it was worth it. And now there's an ownership. Or you're going to
go for a run later.
But what you're making yourself aware of is that the process is small, consistent, deliberate across the long range of time. Dare I say, a broad scope of time and domains to improve your work capacity. Am I trying to jam that in too hard?
It says F45.
Yes.
Okay.
Orange theory. Anyway, folks, that's sort of what my takeaway on this was, is that if we watched and tallied every fist bump and every comment and every workout and every pull up and every push up across each week, we would probably stop that effort
after 2 weeks.
About 2 weeks. I wouldn't even make it 2 weeks.
No, wait.
3 days.
By Friday, I'm over it.
Yeah. But you wait and you just let the path develop.
Yeah.
And holy crap, we can power a Tesla for 14 miles.
Yeah.
You can get to Bowie. You can get to Bowie in the Tesla. But that's, from the whole year. No, for a week. For a week.
You need a ride. You need to Uber back from Bowie.
Yeah. So you get to the CrossFit gym at Bowie on the Tesla that was powered by.
Is there a CrossFit gym in Bowie?
I have no idea.
I don't think there is.
Oh, we should start one. And they could Tesla back and forth. The gym at Bowie could power it for the ride back. The gym in Annapolis could power it for the ride there.
AM class is here, PM class is there.
Bam,
boom,
done.
Nailed it. Oh my gosh.
Get on that Echo bike, Joe.
That's awesome. You got your workout out for you. Good thing you got some new workout threads to sweat in.
All right. That was just silly fun.
That's cool. All right. Gratuities.
Mine's still my sister.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with it. Yep.
Yeah.
Sister Chrissy.
Cool.
Made me laugh. She made me laugh last night. Hard. I haven't laughed that hard in a while. Yeah. She was cracking me up.
Mine is it's funny, Joyce says all the time, because she's like, well, Fiona's obviously your favorite because you talk about Fiona all the time. And you post about Fiona. I was like, yeah, but Everett's like starting to come into his own. So like there's more. But Fiona this weekend, first, like two things with Fee.
She's about to be your gratitude, isn't she?
Yeah, Fee's my gratitude for two reasons. This is the first year that she was like really into Christmas, right?
Cool.
Like at 4 years old, like she's into it. She's kind of like, we don't, the whole Santa thing, like we don't discourage Santa. Like we're very much like we do it too, but we also, there's the fun that is Santa and all that. So it's kind of like I told her, I was like, all right, Fee, like if you wake up on Christmas Eve, like you got to stay in your bed. You can't come out looking for me. You can't call me. Like you got to stay in your bed. Cause that's what she'll do. She'll wake up in the middle of the night and she'll come out looking or whatever. I was like, cause mommy and daddy, like we got to do stuff to help set up for Santa and get ready for Santa. She goes, okay. And then on Christmas Eve, she goes, so if I wake up, I need to come out and write a letter to Amelia. Like I need to write a letter to Amelia. So I'll just come out, I'll write my letter. She's like, I'll go back to bed. I was like, nice try, Fee. Like you're good. But like Christmas morning, like she woke up and she was like so excited. And like she saw all the stuff under the tree and she was just so excited. And what I love is like she saw this one thing, like we had this one house. I think I had it sitting here because like I didn't want to see. Yeah. And she immediately started playing with that. And like she had other presents. She took her time and like it took her like 3 hours to open all her presents.
That's awesome.
Not because there were so many, but because like, and she just had so much fun. And then we were all done. Like Everett wanted to play with the stuff too. And she was like, Everett, like, she goes, Everett. And so I was like, Fee, I'm going to take this back to your room. Go hang out. She sat in her room for 3 hours and just played with all her new stuff. And she's like making up stories. And like, it was so fun just watching her, like, be so excited and happy. Cause this is the first year that she's super into it. So that was that. B, the other thing that just makes me just so happy. So the dog that bit her a couple years ago, he's still living. He's Rudy's dog. Rudy's home. So we were at Kim's house on New Year's Eve and the dog's there, but the dog's like in the basement, stays in the basement. There's a gate up, there's a door closed. And it was one of those, like, do we tell Fee that he's there? Like she knows, do we not tell her? Like, I don't want her to be nervous when she's there. And at one point we saw she opened up the door and we're like, Fee. And Willis was sitting down there at the bottom of the steps with the gate. And my heart immediately like sank. It's like, fuck, she's gonna like freak out or whatever. And she closes her. She goes, is that Willis? I'm like, yeah, that's Willis. And she asked if she could see him. I was like, yeah, you can see him. And I like picked her up and held her and we opened up the door. And she said, hi, Willis. And she said, Merry Christmas, and closed the door. And I was like this dog that just like, again, it's a lot of like, I think it was more traumatic than us.
Yeah.
That she's like this thing that did this thing to her. She still like wanted to say hi and wish it Merry Christmas. It's like that. Sometimes it's like, it's one of those, like, I don't know if she can forgive a dog and let that go. What am I holding on to that I should just let go? Because is it worth it?
No, it's not.
And so
clearly
it was one of those moments, like I thought she was gonna be scared. I thought she was gonna be nervous. She just wouldn't be around it. She just wanted to wish her Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I love this kid so much.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's probably my favorite. No, I'm just kidding. She's like, I love them both the same. So seeing Fiona love Christmas like
that's fun,
this year
man.
for what it is, and then that moment too was just like, oh, Christmas is awesome. Fee made it.
That's very
wonderful.
cool.
So anyway, those are my two.
Cool.
Those are my two. So yeah,
good one.
Yeah. So yeah, just let some stuff go. That's my
let
some stuff go.
Let it
Don't
go.
hang on to it. So let it go. Let it go. Can't hold it back anymore.
All right. Well, cool.
Cool. That's it.
New Year's Eve coming at you.
If you're listening to this, you're not at the gym because we're closed.
That's right.
There you go.
Enjoy an early night. Go to bed. Wake up. There'll be WODs posted. They're already posted.
Yeah, they're already posted.
I don't remember what they are now this week. Doesn't matter. Anyway, cool.
One of them's a partner WOD.
That's right.
I think the Friday one's a partner WOD.
If you can't find a partner, do it with your dog. If you can't find a dog,
have a ghost partner.
That's right.
Or do your what was it? Marry the one day, like George Clooney was her ghost partner, and it was something like that. Yeah. So like, or create a ghost partner.
Yeah.
Kelly,
all right.
Kelly described her ghost partner. I was like, that doesn't sound anything like Sam. Awesome. All right.
We will see you
next year
on the creek.